It's interesting. Your family has taken an almost exact and opposite path than many family businesses. It's one that I think is brilliant. It's brilliant that, your great-grandfather sold the business, then they sold it again and sold it again. And then, each generation pretty much started their own businesses. And, where did those decisions come from? How did that happen? And, what were some of the benefits and challenges of that?
Yeah, I think, I can't really speak to why my grandparents sold the first company they had. But I know my dad, one of the reasons he was looking to sell was there's four of us. I have two brothers and a sister. We were all active in the business as well as, some of our spouses, so I think, he thought that was a way maybe to deal with a succession plan. And I think when we sold it, we sold it back during the .com stock market boom, and it was a publicly traded company that seemed like maybe they were better funded than they were. And, so it just, really, they started doing things in a way that was counter to our values. And, so, we waited out our non-compete. We also had another business that's still one of our companies, Johnson Equipment. We were doing truck repair and selling parts. I worked there for, the 3 years that we had to wait out our non-competes. And, then, we started seeing opportunities with customers that our former company wasn't serving. And that's when we decided to get together and start Leonard's Express. And, I didn't actually come to Leonard's right away. I stayed at Johnson Equipment for a number of years. My sister and brother-in-law and mother and youngest brother, they started right out in the beginning. And my middle brother, he actually stayed with the company we sold to for a few more years, and then came over. So
interesting. I think, sorry, I just got tongue-tied there. But from a succession planning standpoint, it makes an awful lot of sense when somebody is passionate about the business and willing to invest their own money, their own, not just their time and their talent, but really, the buck stops here. And then the other thing that it does is, so one, there's a lot of drive from the next generation, the rising generation, whatever you want to call it. But then from the other side of that, I want people to make sure that they catch this, is you're cashing out along the way. So,
right.
So, if that industry took a turn, you've already cashed out several times through the generations. And it's one of the concerns that, when I'm talking to multi-generation business owners, they talk about it all the time, where they say, we want to keep the business in the family. We're going to gift it over there and do all of that work. And then the concern is, well, what happens if something goes wrong in the economy or the industry and we could be worth nothing? And that cashing out moment every generation is brilliant. Really great idea.
Well, I'm not sure it was really planned that way, but I think it's worked out in our case. So yeah. So it's and we're starting to deal with it ourselves now. There's another generation behind us right now. My two brothers and I are own the company, and we all have family in the next generation coming along, which is great. We enjoy seeing them grow, and more importantly, grow an interest in our industry. We also have both my son and daughter work for Leonard's, but my two brothers both have daughters and sons that don't work in the business. But seeing that next generation grow in interest, and maybe some of the ones that aren't will eventually come over, simply because they're young and still finding their way. But yeah, but it also creates some of what you're talking about. We're going to have to start thinking about how are we going to transition over time. I'd like to think we still have a little bit of time there, but time goes fast, and especially as we're growing, and we've managed to grow Leonard's and our other companies to a fairly good size. So it's it takes planning to make these transitions, and and there's a lot of different ways to go, and some of them are better than others. So you want to make sure you make the best choice for for your family, and not just your family. I mean, we like to look at everyone that works for Leonard's and our other companies as part of our family, and I think that's part of what's made us successful.